informs police that Harley had autism and attention deficit hypersensitivity disorder, otherwise known as ADHD, but that he was high functioning and very smart. Heather Dilly also mentions Harley's illnesses in her interview with BCI and adds that he was being assessed for oppositional deficit disorder, ODD, and that he also had PTSD due to the beatings he endured as a young child from his older sister. When asked if Harley would know to get out of the cold, Marcus informed police that Harley would, as he was a baby when it comes to the cold. Marcus also states that Harley was angry at his parents after he broke his phone and they refused to buy him a new one, telling him that he would have to earn it. In the interview with BCI, Heather states that it was her old phone that Harley had broken after she refused to have his screen fixed. Harley is said to have loved gaming, making YouTube videos to which he has informed his viewers that his mother had locked him out of the house after he had informed her that he didn't want to go with her to visit someone as he wanted to do his homework. Harley and shoulders. Harley was 4'9", and the vent was 6.5 feet above the chimney floor. There was no mention as to how it would have been possible for Harley to reach the vent. Reports indicate that Marcus Dilly signed into work at 5 a.m. on the 20th of December 2019, and that it was his signature on the sheet. However, on the sign-in sheet, there isn't a sign-in time for Dilly. Using the tracking device from the waste disposal truck used by Dilly, his movements of the day were recorded. However, after leaving the Republic Services facility at 8:12, his whereabouts aren't tracked again until 9:05 a.m, which shows he went home for 6 minutes, leaving at 9:11 a.m. By driving, it takes 18 minutes to get from the Republic Services facility to the Dilly home. However, 43 minutes of time is unaccounted for. In her statement to the police, Heather Dilly reports that Harley entered her room at 6:15 to ask if he can stay home from school, and she knew this because she rolled over to check the time on the clock. In an interview with Cleveland News, she is asked by the reporter if that is the last time she saw Harley. She appears to correct the reporter by saying, "I didn't see him, I talked to him. There's a difference." Colleagues of Marcus Dilly said that after Harley went missing, Dilly appeared to be bragging about the helicopters that were looking for his son, and that a week after Harley's disappearance, Dilly informed them that he didn't believe Harley would be found alive. The cement on the bricks surrounding where the vent was were a lighter shade of grey compared to the cement parts on other parts of the chimney. This gave the perception that the bricks surrounding